Right, we've got the microphone on today. Oh, good. Right, that should make a difference. Well, good morning. We're going to have a look at some biology today. We're going to have a look at food tests. We're going to have a look at some tests for proteins. We're going to have a look at some tests for carbohydrates and lipids. So let's have a look at some of those. Get a piece of paper ready. And let's have a look down here. So, food tests. First of all, for carbohydrates. Let's zoom in a bit so you can see. Right, the test for a carbohydrate, typically we're looking at something like starch. And what we do for starch is we use the iodine test. So we take some iodine, and this is basically a brown color, and it should turn this blue-black color. We're going to test for lipids, fats. The test for this is we normally shake with some alcohol, and then we add water. And we're looking to see if something goes cloudy. And if it does, then we've got some fat or lipid present. We're going to look for proteins. This is the Benedict test. And if we have protein present, then we'll get a purple color. And finally, we're going to test for a simple sugar. And this is the Benedict test. And hopefully, if this is working in a hot water bath, what we should manage to see, if we've got any simple sugars present, it should turn from blue. Maybe we'll get yellow, sort of green color, and maybe we'll get some sort of brown color if it really works well and we've got a lot of simple sugar. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to have a look at a whole load of different foods, and I've got some of those set up here. I've got some crisps, I've got satsuma, an egg, some cheese, potato. Maybe I'll get some bread out or something. We'll have a quick look at some of those in a moment. Let's have a look and see what makes up a carbohydrate. What makes this sort of carbohydrate? A carbohydrate consists of lots of sugars joined together. So a sugar molecule looks like a little hexagon, and this is joined to another little hexagon, and so on and so on and so on. I'm going to get very bored very quickly drawing this out. What happens with the iodine test is it reacts with this and we get this blue-black complex. But if we can chop these up, and this is how it's found in some plants, then we can do a different test. So this is our starch test, but if we break them up, this is the Benedict's test. And in some foods, we're going to have starch, some we're going to have simple sugars, and some of them, of course, we're going to have both. Proteins are in fact made up the same way. A protein consists of an amino acid group joined to another amino acid group, joined to another one, and another one, and another one, in the same way, really, as the sugars are joined together. So this is our protein chain, and when we get our protein chain, the Biuret test will simply react with this and produce this sort of purple color. Lipids consist of a molecule with basically some fatty acid chains joined to it. This molecule seems to be water soluble, and these are soluble in things like alcohol. This is fat. So this is, I suppose, similar to a washing up molecule, washing up liquid molecule. We've got this water loving end and this fat loving end. Hydrophilic, hydrophobic, and we're going to use those properties with the alcohol and the water to try and make an emulsion, which is cloudy. So there's our basic ideas of what we're going to do. Now, of course, we need to have particular rules on how we're going to do some of these tests, and we'll have a look at those now. Many people will find that they've got a special book to do this work with, and this is quite a popular one, this Practical Labs book, and many students get these and sort of fill them in there. They're quite good, and I'm going to have a look at trying to create one of these tables so we can record what we're doing. So let's have a look at what we need. And let's just get a ruler, and let's have a look at trying to draw up a results table. So what I'm going to want is some observations. Oh, I've been waiting to do that. Right, so I've got some observations and we're going to have some food samples. So my food samples, I've got an egg, I've got a potato, I've got some crisps, can't spell this morning, I've got some cheese, and I've got a satsuma. We'll test then for starch. We can test for glucose, simple sugar. We can test for protein, and we can test for lipid or a fat. Let's just try and organize the table better. There we go. So I've got my egg, potato, crisps, cheese, and we'll have a satsuma. There we are. So there's my basic outline for my tests, and what we need to have are some rules about how we're going to do each of these tests. So my test for starch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply add 1 to 2 drops of iodine, and we're going to record whether it goes blue-black or not. My test for glucose, more complicated, so I'm going to need to mix some of my glucose, the food, so I'm going to need to mix my food with a little bit of Benedict's reagent. Then we're going to heat this by putting it in a water bath and observe the colour. The test for protein, what we're going to do is we're going to mix the food with some Biuret reagent. Now, the Biuret reagent, there's 2 of them, so I'll have to add Biuret A and then Biuret B, and we're going to test to see if that goes purple. And finally, we're going to take our lipid and we're going to mix the food with a little alcohol, and then we're going to put this into cold water. I'm expecting some of the tests to work and some of them to fail, because we're going to find that some foods are going to have all of those and some are going to have just one. Let's have a look and move over to see what we're going to do. I'll take this with me. So over here we've got what we want to try and have a look at. I've got my samples of food, I've got my satsuma, I've got my egg, I've got my potato. I did have potato and cheese, and I've got my crisps. Nicely. Okay, so I've got my foods. Paul's going to help me. He's going to put the water bath on for me so that we can be ready for the next experiment. And what we've got are these bits. Now, the satsuma is going to be hard to work with, so I'm going to suggest that I feel that one. And I'm going to also need to get into the potato. And the egg, I think we might do better if I break that into something. Let's just try this. Last time I tried one of these, it failed. Usually I couldn't break the egg. So there we are, we've got our egg ready to go. I've got my slice of potato and we'll get into the satsuma. Proving more difficult than anticipating. There we are. So I probably will open that one up to start with. Okay, so we're ready to try and start this. And what I want to do is I want to test the egg, and it's going to be simplest for this one. Is if I get some egg out, and to do that I'm going to use PET, not the usual one we use in the kitchen, I have to admit. So let's take a sample of the egg, get an equal lot. There's a sample of my egg. The next one is one piece of potato. That's a big piece. So I'm going to put my potato in there. Then I want some crisps. So I want a small bit of crisp. There. Cheese. Take a small bit of cheese. And finally a little bit of satsuma. And for this. And I'm just going to try and cut a little bit off. Badly. And put it in. I'm going to swash that one. I want it to mix quite well. Okay. My first job then is to react these with iodine solution. Iodine solution then, a brownish colour. There's my control. So that's the colour that we've got. Let's try adding it some egg. We'll put it on some potato, some cheese. No, that was crisp. Cheese here. And satsuma. Right. So Paul, hopefully zooming in on this so we can have a look at it. Yes, you're doing well. This is my egg, and it's still nicely brown, so there appears to be no starch in egg. So I'm going to record that. So my egg, no. My next test with the potato, this has turned black, so this is positive for starch. The crisps has done exactly the same. My cheese, that's still orange. My satsuma, on the other hand, I think I've got a few little bits of black in there. It's certainly not orange. It's not that brown. We've got some black in there. So it looks like cheese is a no, but satsuma seems to have some starch in it. Okay, so there is our first test using iodine solution, and we've got our first set of results. Our next experiment, we're going to try doing glucose test. And to do this, what we're going to need is a water bath, and we're going to put in there about half a beaker of boiling water. And what I'm just going to get out are a couple of test tubes. And a test tube rubber. Let's move that test out of the way. And we're now ready to do our next test. So I've already got some test tubes to have a go at. Experiment. So let's try some of these. So we're going to mix our food with some Benedicts. And I'm going to try and pour a bit of egg in there. So we've got egg in the first one. The next one we want a little bit of potato. Now this potato is not going to be terribly easy to sort of work with because it's very solid, and really what I need to do is try and sort of mash it up. So I've got a couple of bits of solid in there. Let's take another little bit of potato, and what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try chop it and mash it up a little bit. Well, we'll see. My next one is my crisp. Now, I can see this isn't going to dissolve terribly well, but we'll put some tiny bits of crisp in there. Well, that didn't help matters. Don't work online TV, we can work. Right. Okay. Crisps. My next one, I've got some cheese. And I'm going to take a small bit of cheese. And I'm going to crumble that one there. And finally, I'm going to take some of my satsuma. I'm going to squeeze that. Okay. So there's my basic setup, and what we want is some Benedict solution, and I want to put in a couple of squirts of this into both. I'll probably be using to make that swap off. So I'm putting two squirts into each one. There we got that. Let's have a look at our egg. Give that a good mix. And Paul's already got our water bath. And I'm going to dip that in there. Egg. I've got my potato. Next to it. This is my crisp. Don't seem to be dissolving terribly well. But then I didn't really expect to do so. My cheese. And finally, a Satsuma. I'm not guaranteeing how well a Satsuma will work, but there we are. And what we have to do with this is we have to leave it for a few minutes to work. Already I can see some things are happening. One of the reasons we don't often do egg with this is the egg's cooking nicely in there. It's not gone a nice colour here, has it? It's gone. Certainly still blue. It's sort of purplish, really. And in fact, that because it's got the same some of the same reagents in as the Benedict test, it's actually going purple very well, trying its best. And that's going to show us we're going to have protein present there. But the egg, has it gone a sort of a green-brown colour? No. So our egg doesn't appear to have any glucose in it. The next one is our potato. And it's got a greeny colour. So it would appear that there is a small, really tiny amount of glucose present in there. So we'll put that one in as really, yeah. I do want to say yes, there was some, but I'm going to put very little with that as well. Crisps. No change. My cheese. Well, that's boring. No change on that one either. However, my Satsuma here is a resounding success. And I can see that's gone yellow. Perhaps if I left it a bit longer, it might go a bit browner colour. But that is a positive test there for sugar. So we can say yes to the Satsuma. So there's our first and second test done. I'm not the water away. We're going to do now a test for protein. The protein test is going to be very similar to what we've just done. So let's try the test here. We're going to start again. We're going to put some egg in. Egg. The next one I want to put in my potato. And again, what we're going to have to do is try and chop this up. Great culinary skills coming to the fore here. So I've now tried to mash up my potato as much as possible. Put that in the second one. Crisps, again, I'm going to need to break up small bits of crisp. Put it in. My next one, cheese again. Crumble cheese in there. And lastly, my Satsuma. And I'm going to squeeze. And put that back. I've got much liquid in there. So we'll try. Okay. Direct test. What we do with this one is we put a little bit of sodium hydroxide in each one. This is direct reagent A. And then we're going to give it a little shake to make sure it's doing its job. And then we're going to do exactly the same as before. We're going to put in a squirt of direct reagent B. This is basically copper sulfate solution and tartaric acid. Let's see what happened. Well, straight away we've got a purple colour. Definite purple colour there of protein present. So that's quite convincing. So there's my egg. So I'll record my egg as having protein present. My potato looks largely unconvincing here, with no purple I can see in there. My crisps, boring, the same, no protein in there. Now I'm not really surprised those two are following suit, because let's face it, crisps are made potato. My cheese, I'd like to think there was going to be some protein in there. What do you think? Do you think there's a slight tinge of purple there? I think there is. So we're going to go for yes with that one. And my Satsuma. Trying to look where there isn't sort of the orange Satsuma. I'm not really convinced there's any protein in there. There might be a tiny bit, but I can't really see it. So there is my second set of liquid tests done. So I'll move those away. Which brings us on to the final test, which is using some alcohol and some cold water. Pour the slimy cold water. And I get out a couple of extra test tubes. So I've got some cold water, and I've got some test tubes, probably have that little one here as well. Right, okay. Let's start with the egg. Get quite practice at doing this now. A blob of egg. We want then some potato. We'll mash up the potato. We'll put a little texture. Right, that's the hard one done. Crisp. Then we've got cheese. Try and break that up fairly finely. And finally, my satsuma. Lovely squashed satsuma there. Like try a little bit fresher on there. I'm simply trying to break all this so we can get the stuff reacting. Now, let's look at alcohol. So I'm going to squirt alcohol here. Sweet. Yeah. Well, that does seem to make the egg go solid, which may not be quite what we want. Give it a good shake with the potato, the crisps, the cheese, and finally the satsuma. Now, this is a bit subjective, this one, but I've got some cold water here, and let's add some cold water. And we want to see if this is cloudy. Well, I've got the egg that's all sort of decomposed here. It's denatured. And I think that was the alcohol that did that. I'm not sure I can see it being cloudy. We'll compare them with some others. Looking fairly clear, so I'm going to say no to the first two. Let's try the crisps. Nothing really there. hopeful for the cheese. And that is cloudy. So that's what I'm looking for in this test. So that's convincing, whereas the very different the egg. I don't know if you see that very well. So the cheese test is positive for lipid, and Satsuma finally. No, nothing there. So there's our test done. Let's go back and have a quick look at these. Well, I've had a look and we've got this sort of set of results. I'll just zoom out for you. So our core practical done, and this has got egg containing protein, potato containing starch, maybe a little glucose in there, crisps containing starch, cheese containing some protein and some fat, and the Satsuma containing a little starch and some glucose. So some foodstuffs are basically just one type of substance. Looks like the crisps here, protein. I did wonder whether the crisps would actually have any fat in them, but they tend to be low-fat crisps, so it might not actually register on this, and it's a fairly insensitive test, the way I'm doing it anyway. The cheese here, a mixture of protein and fat. Cheese largely made from milk. I didn't try milk. It is quite good, but being sort of white in color, it tends to sort of mask the actual color. It tends to mask a lot of the tests. And our Satsuma, I was surprised to see there was some starch in the Satsuma, but fair enough. There we have our little experiment. So I hope you've followed that through. I've gone through a core practical for AQA, which hopefully you can sort of use and have a look at. You've seen me do all the bits and pieces. I've done this before in one of my other videos, and I'll link to that. Perhaps a little bit more professionally done than trying to do things live. But there, we've got our results, and basically an experiment that you need to know how to do, and this comes up in the exam quite frequently. So good luck with that. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe. Bye-bye.